Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson. We created this show because we wanted everybody with an invisible condition to know that they have a voice, a community, and they're not alone. Okay, that's the idea around here. And speaking of not alone, hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to put your name up here so everybody can see who we're talking to. I have Samona with me today. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Who am I? So my name is Samona Pheils. It was Ridge, so everybody knows me generally as Samona Ridge. But I did just get married a month ago.
Yay! Congratulations.
So, thank you.
That's fun.
So my last name has changed. So if I say Ridge, if I say Pheils or Ridge, I apologize because I get them all mixed up. But no, I do have an invisible condition. I was diagnosed with MS when I was 32, 33 years old. 32. Yeah, I was pretty young.
Okay. That's pretty young.
I think so.
People don't usually just get that. See, maybe it's just because of my condition. I was diagnosed at 2 weeks old, but right. I always imagined it was younger, like when you're a kid or something.
Actually, I know.
Is it usually an older? Is it?
We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll explain.
That's crazy. I mean, everybody I know that's been diagnosed with MS has been
in their 20s.
It's in their adult, 20s, 30s, 40s. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so tell us about yourself, your family, like where you're from, where you going, what's going on.
Well, I tell everybody I'm from Guam, but I'm really from everywhere. My dad was in the Air Force. And so when I was 2 weeks, I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi, but when I was 2 weeks old, my dad had orders to go to the Azores. So the Azores, it's a group of islands off of Portugal.
There it is.
Yes.
I don't think very many people are going to know that.
I mean, the island is so tiny, but oh my goodness, it was so adorable. I remember the cobble streets and everything. Yeah. It was nice. So I was there when I was 2 weeks old. So everybody who teases me about getting on a plane, I'm like, I beat you all. I was 2 weeks old.
That's right.
But my
internationally,
sister,
though, come on.
Right? But my sister was born in the Azores, and I used to tease her when she turned 18 that INS was going to come and kick her out of the States. I went so far to create a fake and INS letter. It was hilarious. Come on. My mom, after 6 months, finally said it was a joke, but I had her going. But no, I have 4 children. They range from 15 to almost 26.
Nice.
And I have 2 grandkids. Yes, 2 boys. Oh.
Our grandkids is your reward for not killing your children.
It is. It absolutely is. And you know what? Like your kids grow up fast, but your grandkids grow up so much faster. It's insane. I mean, it's like a blink of an eye, and my grandson is 6 already. I'm like, what in the world happened?
I know.
But so and then
if you knew they were going to be that much fun, you'd have had them first, probably.
Right. Because you know what? You get to spoil them, love them, and then give them back.
Exactly. They start smelling funny or making weird noises. You can give them back.
Or you get the word no.
Yeah. I'm sure that never happens. They don't even have to learn that.
Yeah. I mean, I get the word
built
no.
In.
No.
Yeah.
You're like, holy cow. Why can you go do that? No. So, yeah. And then, my background is I moved from the Azores to actually Colorado Springs.
Oh wow, that's
when I was 5.
Culture shock.
So we went from the Azores to Colorado Springs, and then from Colorado Springs we went to Guam.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Just a stopping point.
It was. We were only here 1 year. And so after Guam, we had emergency orders to the White House.
Oh my gosh.
My dad was beckoned. Yes. My dad was WACA, White House Communications Agency. So wherever the president went, my dad went with him, and he was personally called by Bill Clinton to be his communications advisor.
Wow.
Yeah. So we would have, Christmas parties at the White House and Easter egg hunts on the White House lawn, and we did all these things at the White House because that's where my dad worked.
No messing around.
Yeah. Now, can I tell you what my dad does? Absolutely not. All I know it has to do with communications. and he's with the president.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
It is. And sadly, you know, I hate to bring up 9/11, but when 9/11 happened, my dad was supposed to be on the plane that hit the Pentagon.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You want to talk about the grace of God. So for 2 weeks, I thought my dad was dead because I thought he was on that plane. My dad doesn't have a cell phone.
When the mess got all cleaned up, you finally figured it out.
Well, what happened was my dad was supposed to fly out with a partner.
Yeah.
And the partner got sick. So he got off. So he never showed up. Well, there was 2 people on standby, and they asked my dad if he minded going on the next flight. Mm-hmm. And my dad said, sure. So he got off the plane. And but for all we knew, he was literally he literally got on that plane.
And then got off.
And then got off.
You didn't know you got off.
Yeah, we had no idea he got off of it. So 2 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 3 days later, we got a call from his secretary. And the secretary said this only: your father's safe. We can't say where he is, but he'll be home soon.
Wow. That's enough.
They buried him because of his top security clearance and what he does. They buried him. Yeah. Turns out, I can say now, it's kind of funny, but for 2 weeks, they had him hidden in a veterinary clinic.
Sure, why not?
Right. So that's where they hit him.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, so all of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think I had a fun childhood.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, because in Guam we would do block parties. Yeah. And, you know, the camaraderie of the people that live on base.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very tight knit community.
Totally.
And so when I came and lived off base, it's not like that. Mm-mm. And I mean, your neighbors are out to get you, I think. Well, mine were. They didn't like me and I didn't like them. So
sometimes maybe.
They would call, like my dogs would bark. They would immediately call animal control. The dog barked. You're like, really?
Yeah,
it's a dog.
It's a little different there. But so all that childhood stuff and everything. And so then you got to be, then you grew up a little bit, went to high school, graduated, all that stuff. And then when did you start noticing? I mean, you didn't notice MS symptoms kicking in when you were a kid, right? Like that's not usually a thing.
Yeah, no.
Tell me about that. Like how's that going?
So I had zero symptoms until 2012. So I was 32.
Oh wow.
I was 32.
Okay.
And I kept falling down. I mean, I literally would stand up and just fall. Standing in one place and right. I mean, I told you off air that, you know, I was in the shower and 3 times I fell just straight down. And so not cool. Yeah, and then I had tons and tons of bladder issues. I mean, it was insanely ridiculous. I could not go from my car at Rite Aid, which you guys think is CVS or Walgreens here.
We used to have Rite Aid.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, we drove them out of town.
I guess. So I was at Rite Aid, and I couldn't get from my car to the bathroom without pissing my pants.
Wow. That's not cool.
No.
So this is, but you didn't know it was because of MS at the time. You
no idea.
What the heck is going on?
Yeah. So I called my doctor, who's, by the way, is Dr. Magic is his name. Magic.
Seriously. Legit. That's his name.
Legit. That's his name. Dr. Magic.
I kind of love that.
And so I call my doctor and I'm like, look, I'm doing all these things. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so he sends me to a urologist first. The urologist is like, we can't find anything wrong. I'm like, how can you not find something wrong when I can't.
Clearly these things are happening.
Right.
It's not my imagination.
I'm like, I didn't, just conjure up this story.
Yeah.
So my doctor finally said, well, go see the neurologist.
There you
go.
So
I went and saw a neurologist. He did an MRI in my brain and found a ton of white matter. We can explain that later.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we should.
But but I had a ton of white matter in my brain. And all that white matter causes cognitive and other things because MS, as you know, is it has to do with your central nervous system. Mm-hmm. So when your nervous system is awry, everything's awry. Ooh, so the doctor, the neurologist, he had this like little vibrating test machine thing that he put like right here on my arm.
Yeah.
And the moment he goes, okay, I'm going to put on the lowest setting, he wanted to see my nerves and how they reacted.
Yeah.
And it just was this vibrating thing.
Just to see how
he got to right here, which is probably 1.5 inches, right?
Okay.
And I start pissing my pants.
Oh, no.
I was like,
there's a clue.
There's a clue. I said, I think you found it.
I think you found it.
Right? So,
oh, man.
So he's like, okay, he goes, it's definitely MS. And then the kicker was fibromyalgia. Oh. Yay!
Oh,
I got them both.
Do those go together a lot?
It is very common, but not necessarily a lot.
Not necessarily given, but,
right.
But it goes together.
Yeah. So
that makes sense. I mean, I get it. But
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was 32 when all that happened.
Wow.
And okay, here's a silly side note about heels, because everybody always in town sees me in heels.
Yes.
And that seems to be like my trademark in the neighborhood. Red hair and heels.
Bring it on.
So
and these are big heels, by the way.
Yes, they're like 4 inches.
No messing around.
They're 4 inches. So I couldn't walk. I was walking with a cane. My doctor gave me physical therapy.
Yeah.
And so I'm at the physical therapist's office, and she says, what's one silly thing that you can do or that you want to do?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter if you fail at it, but it'd be a great thing to accomplish. I thought about it, like, that's a really trick question. What is something you want to do, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter?
Yeah. Like, it'd be fun, but whatever.
Right. Who cares? So I said, I want to wear high heels. Sure, and so all of my training to learn to walk again was with high heels.
It's insane.
And so now I can walk, run, jump, skip, whatever in heels. Because I've worn them for so long.
Watch out for triathlon heels.
Right.
The next step, right?
Well, it's funny. The Mythbusters, they did an episode on wearing heels and driving.
Yeah.
And how wearing heels, is a detriment. They say it's detriment to drive with them because they slip, they slide, or whatever. Yeah. But I can tell you, I've never had a problem driving a car.
Somebody that's never driven in heels, I can't relate. But
yeah,
I understand.
So that's why I wear heels.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever not seen you wear heels, so that's good.
I am always. Oh, and I have 300 pairs of shoes. So.
Oh Lord, man.
I can pick anything I want.
Probably 298 of them are heels, right?
All of them.
Oh, all okay. Sure.
All of them
Why
are
not?
heels. I have one pair of tennis shoes. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Oh, that's all right. It's just I won't hold it against you.
Right.
So. Anyway, so for the live audience out there, I know that there's some people watching who I just want to throw this out there to acknowledge anybody out there that maybe if you know somebody who's living with MS, or maybe you're related, maybe it's a relative. I mean, I have a couple of dear friends that I've grown up with over the years that have it and were diagnosed. And so just wanted to shout out, if that's the case, let us know. If you're watching on Facebook, it's super easy to chime in and comment. We always love to hear from everybody. So we can always, we can kind of chat back and forth from the online audience that way. So just wanted to shout out to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. So, so when you did get diagnosed, you said you were in your 30s, right? So what's the process for that? I mean, it seems like it'd be long and ridiculous. And
well, believe it or not, when you were asking about the age for MS, it's actually between 20 and 40. And if you get late onset MS, it's called LO MS.
Okay.
If you get late onset MS at the age of 50, your prognosis is very grim.
Huh.
It is grim. The older you are, I have no idea. The older you are,
the younger.
Right. But yeah, the older you are, the more it affects you. And like for me or somebody in their 20s, the prognosis of getting into a wheelchair is only 10%.
Wow.
I only have a 10% chance of ending up being in a wheelchair.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do, because there's stuff you can do, and
there is tons of things
that you can do right and do wrong.
Right. Yeah. And I've learned them all.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, not all. I would say a majority, a good majority.
Yeah. I was gonna say, who knows it all? I guess.
Right.
You know? So, all right. So, when they finally figured it out, obviously it was obvious. I mean, I was like, hello, that's what it is.
So
and bonus fibromyalgia.
Yeah. But, so you asked me how the diagnosis goes.
Yeah.
So for me, I can only, say how mine went.
Right, sure.
So I go see the neurologist. He does an MRI of my brain. Mm-hmm. He does nerve tests. Mm-hmm. And so the combination of these different nerve tests, it was like 3 or 4 different nerve ending tests.
Okay.
Because he had to check my central nervous system. He had to check my brain. He had to check my heart, all these things.
Yeah.
Because, and like I said, my bladder was totally affected by MS.
Yep.
So MS is overactive nerves of the central nervous system.
Sure.
So it's like your nerves are just, all just going haywire.
Going crazy.
They're just going nuts. So when it comes to being diagnosed, it's actually pretty hard. I mean, the white matter.
Because it could be a lot of stuff.
Right, because really, that white matter could mean a bunch of different diseases.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily, it's white matter, so it means MS.
Right.
It could mean a lot of different things.
So then you had to do different tests.
Right. Because I had, out of 3 neurologists, believe it or not, I had 2 say, oh, no, you don't have MS. And gave me no symptoms. Gave me no relief, nothing. So by the time I got to the 3rd neurologist, and thank God I went to another one and not just gave up. I went to the 3rd neurologist and I said, look, my doctor said I need to see a neurologist, right? And so I'm at the doctor and I'm like, look, my doctor said I need to see a neurologist. These 2 people said I don't have MS, but really didn't do anything of a test.
But I've got
and
something.
I said, I don't know what it is. I mean, MS was never on my radar.
Yeah.
I never thought, I'm coming into this doctor.
Something wasn't right, though.
Right. Yeah. All I knew is that all these other doctors couldn't find anything, and this guy was my last hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because I'm from Baltimore, there's Johns Hopkins Hospital. Mm-hmm. And so that was my next step. Like, if this neurologist can't figure it out, I'm going to Johns Hopkins.
We're going all in. Yeah.
Right. And so, MS was never on my radar. Fibromyalgia kind of was, because every female in my family has fibromyalgia.
Ooh.
No lie.
Okay.
My mom has 3 autoimmune diseases.
Wow.
I only have 2.
So you knew something was coming, but you didn't know what.
I just didn't know what.
I mean, based on the symptoms, you're like, well, okay, I'm bracing myself for something.
Because my grandfather died of lupus. My mom has 3, I knew. I really thought it was lupus, to be honest. I thought I had lupus because at the same time I had this rash, and you get this butterfly rash with lupus. Yep. And so I had this, like rosy cheek kind of complexion. Mm. And so I really thought it was lupus, and they tested me for lupus. Yeah. And out of the 4 markers, I got 2. So they told me I'm borderline. Yeah. But I don't have it. So thank you. Yeah, by the grace of God.
There you go, right? Thank you. It could be worse.
It could be, right? Oh, yeah.
Be worse. Well, and what strikes me, we're going to have to go to a commercial here in a second, but what strikes me with this, and we can talk about this more on the other side here, but everybody that I've talked to so far, this has been fascinating. This show has been so fun and fascinating because everybody I've talked to, almost everybody, says the same kind of thing, which is the doctors didn't think there was anything wrong with me, because you don't walk in there with a missing hand or a nothing is apparent. Nothing is obvious, and so they have to dig and figure it out.
They told my mom it was all in her head. Yeah, I took my mom at 15 years old. Side note, at 15 years old, I drove my mom to the ER because her arm from here to here was red and hot to touch. Yeah. I mean, just crazy hot to touch.
What was going on?
Fibromyalgia.
Well, there you go. But they said it was nothing.
They told my mother it was all in her head and nothing happened.
By the way, everybody out there, it's not all in your head.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. And if you really have a symptom or there's something wrong and the doctors can't tell you, keep going.
Advocate for yourself. Right. Yeah, that's the other part.
Right.
Because you have to.
You have to, because it's like you said, it's invisible.
Exactly. That's kind of the crazy part, because people aren't going to know if you don't advocate for yourself. So you have to be your own best advocate.
You really do. I'm teaching that to my son right now.
It's insane. So, well, I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, it went fast, didn't it?
It did.
This went fast. There's more. There's more coming. We're going to talk about more here in a second, but we're going to go to a couple commercials here, and then we will be right right. Hello. That was fun, right? Here
That
we go.
was fun.
We're back for more. Welcome back, everybody. So you were talking about, we were talking about a couple things in the last segment that we were going to talk about more and explain so that people could have a clue about this stuff that you were talking about. So can you, let's see, what is the, so first of all, just to generally, like, what's the prognosis? Like, somebody goes in at 35 or 30 or 45 or whatever and says, oh, okay, I have MS. Now what?
Right.
What's the deal? What's the prognosis there? What do you do?
Well, it's quite interesting. Like I mentioned in the first segment that if you're late onset MS, that's worse for you. Your prognosis is you're probably going to end up in a wheelchair. You're probably going to lose mobility. There's a lot of probablys.
Yeah.
If
Not
you're
definitely.
right. Probably.
But probably.
And it's a very high probably. I mean, anybody that I know that was in their 50s that got diagnosed with it ended up in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
So, but those that are diagnosed between 20 and 40, their prognosis is actually quite
favorable. Maybe. Like positive.
Positive, right. It doesn't have that grim, oh my goodness.
The gray clouds aren't there.
Right. So when the doctor first told me I had MS, I was bawling my eyes out because I thought immediately I was going to be in a wheelchair. Someone was going to have to feed me. Yeah. I had all these crazy thoughts going through my head.
You were seeing it on TV.
Right. That mystery diagnosis show? That will mess with your head.
And don't check WebMD.
Right.
Right.
Because they're scary. They give you misinformation.
Well, it's
Dr. Google does not know everything.
Well, and not even that they don't know everything, but it's like there's so much information that you see all these options. You go, oh no, what if it's that? What if it's that? Ah!
And what's worse is now that we have the internet and videos, watching videos. I actually suggest if you have MS, Google MS on YouTube and watch these videos.
Watch some videos of people that actually have it, doctors that know what they're talking about with it and have treated it. Yeah, because on those episodes, at the end of them, I would say 80% of them give you a phone number, gives you a website. Something to do instead of just letting you sit in your panic. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's important. Because when I first got diagnosed, I had all these crazy thoughts and I really... nobody to tame them out of your head, right? Nobody. And then when you look on Google, it gets worse. Yeah. And so I finally went back to my neurologist after I bawled my eyes out because I don't think I really heard what he had to say the first time. No, you're in shock. Yeah. I mean, so really. I'm just like, yeah. Okay. But when I came back 2 weeks later, I had a list of questions. Oh, good. Yeah, that's a perfect. Yes. So that's what I suggest. Doctors are service providers. You should be able to, drill them. Man. Right. They're working for you. So when they diagnose you, my advice is make a list of questions. I mean, they could be silly questions. It doesn't matter what the question is. No such thing as a stupid question. Exactly. Because you don't know. You don't know anything. This is brand new. Right. So, I mean, because when I was diagnosed with MS, I knew nothing. Yeah. I knew nobody that had it. I knew nothing. And it's quite interesting about the community of people who have MS. Yeah. It's a very tight-knit community. Totally. Because I am part of MS Walk. I am on other MS boards. Yeah. And so, like Beverly, she's in charge of MS Walk. That's her whole job. She works for MS Walk. It's about putting on the walk for Denver and Colorado Springs. Nice. And Pueblo. And even she agrees that what you do is after you're diagnosed, you can Google whatever you want because Google's going to give you more questions to ask the doctor. There you go. Right. Sure. So Google it. Don't be afraid of what you're seeing and write down your questions because Google doesn't give all the answers. And then some of the answers they do don't make sense. Right. Because anybody can. I mean, just because it's in print or in writing on the internet doesn't make it true. Exactly. So check with the people that actually know what the heck they're talking about. Exactly. Yes. But make a list of your questions. I mean, it doesn't have to be one. It could be 10, 20, whatever you have, because it's your job to advocate for yourself. That's right. And it's your job to make sure the doctors are giving you the best possible treatment. Yes. And if you're not advocating for yourself, if you're not asking the questions, then your diagnosis is going to be pretty gloomy. you're going to be miserable.
Right. You are. I have a friend that has MS, and we'll go into things that help me later.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do anything. She lays in bed in pain all day. Now, I'll tell you, the pain is real. The pain
it is.
The pain is real. So I'm not saying she doesn't have pain. But like I told my son, you have to muster through the pain to get better.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there on the couch going, I have MS, I have MS, I have MS. No. Get up, move, do something.
That's true with any invisible condition, though. Any invisible or not.
Right.
I mean, really anything. I mean, that's a blanket. That could be a pretty accurate blanket statement. Just because you're diagnosed doesn't mean you're dead yet.
Exactly.
So,
and also just because you're diagnosed doesn't mean you're immediately in a wheelchair and can't do anything for yourself.
No, because everybody's different. Yeah, right. Everybody's different. Every personality. I mean, good Lord, man. You gotta develop some instant tenacity when you find out you're right.
You do.
It's like, let's get all right. It's on. Let's figure it out.
I had a list of 27 questions.
Nice.
And that's
the doctor
because
probably loved it. They were like, okay.
I don't know if I annoyed him or he
maybe
liked
Dr.
it.
Magic liked it. Maybe the others did. Maybe the others didn't like it, but maybe he did.
Right? So yeah, I did. I brought in my list of 20 questions, and he was so nice. Very gently did he go through them. And let me tell you, if your doctor doesn't show compassion, go find another doctor.
Exactly.
Because the doctors that don't have compassion are not going to treat you the best.
They
want you in and out, in and out. And you don't want somebody that wants you in and out. You want that person.
Just like any industry, there's good ones and there's bad ones. There's ones that are a fit for you, and there's ones that are a fit for maybe that person over there, and not even close for you. And I've run into that too. I've had neurologists that were great and we fit really well, and some that weren't. So that didn't fit well. So but it's up to you
to advocate,
to determine that and find it. So exactly. So
definitely advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. That is huge and super important. So I mean, I've told you I know a couple friends with MS. Your family and stuff. Like, how widespread is this? Like, this is not a rare thing. This is pretty common, right?
It is. And the sad part is I'm not sure why, but MS is being diagnosed more and more and more every day. So I don't know if that there was a list of people that just got misdiagnosed, because that's possible that they all got misdiagnosed because it's hard to diagnose. And now they're finding the right doctors that are treating them right, that are giving the right care. And that's why there's more. I don't know.
Or maybe there's more. 20 years ago, there were these options to figure it out. Now there's there's more, right? There's more tests they can do. It's better. Maybe.
Yeah, the testing that they do, first of all, I don't like it. It hurts. But the testing that they do actually either eliminates or, either you have it or you don't, of these lists of, items that might be possibly on the radar.
Sure.
But I found out afterwards that my neurologist, after looking at my MRI, immediately thought I had MS. Immediately. And that's why he did the nerve test.
Yeah.
Because
so he wouldn't have done that if he hadn't seen it had the expertise to see it in the MRI. Okay. Yep. Wow. So that's even more important to get the right professional looking at it, because
Yes. And the prognosis, I would say for me, I can only talk about me.
Sure.
Is I think I have a pretty good path that I'm going to be walking, and I only because I do everything my doctor says. Literally everything, and I can tell you that in a little bit. But literally everything my doctor suggests, I try. It may not work, but I try.
Never know till you try.
Right. Yeah. So I try all these things, and now I have a routine that I stay in, so that I can bowl, so that I can walk, so that I can do the things that I want to do. I have 4 kids, 2 grandkids. I want to be able to.
You can't be laying around.
Right.
Come on.
I can't be a couch potato. I can't. I just can't.
No.
So.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So with all that, what would you say is the hardest part of MS? What's the
pain, and pain.
Is it like constant, or is it worse?
It's from head to toe.
Yeah.
It does fluctuate because it's chronic.
Okay.
So it does fluctuate in the intensity of it, but it's from head to toe, and it just feels like somebody is squeezing me to death. So sometimes
like somebody's just
like sometimes it just feels like a really bad bear hug. You know, like when somebody just comes and just gives you the big old hug.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
That is how it can start.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, and it's just like that.
That's a good visual. I could.
Yeah. So it gets stronger than that. It gets worse than that. So the pain for me is out of control because fibromyalgia. I know we're not really talking about it today, but
no, that's right. But it's an important part.
I have both. I have fibromyalgia and MS, and with fibromyalgia, it makes the pain level 1,000 times worse.
Right, because it's adding to, because it's the similar symptoms.
It is,
but it's
it's twice. Yeah, so I would say my pain level, but like I told my son, you would never know I'm in pain. You would never know because I don't show it. I don't go around going ouch, 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 ouch. I just don't do that. Yeah. You know, and so like my son just had to have massive surgery on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, and now he's home, but he's constantly ow, 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 and I'm like, I told him, I said, suck it up. And yesterday in the car.
Suck it up or take the drugs they sent home with you.
Right.
That's what they're for.
Yeah. So yesterday we're in the car. And he's like, ow, ow. I said to him, I said, I can't stand the ow anymore. I said, welcome to my world. And he was like, gee, thanks. He thought I was being sarcastic. No, I really meant it. Welcome to my world.
People, especially people that live with you, because it's every day all the time.
Yeah.
People just don't think about it after a while. And then when you do have something happen that lays you out on the floor, literally.
Yep.
People are like, oh, wait, that's right.
I mean, because I'm a bowler.
Yeah.
And so there's times, like if I forget to take my meds at 6 o'clock, I'm not bowling at 7.
No.
There's no way.
No, because you're.
And so one day I forgot to take my meds at 6 o'clock. And I'm on a league, so I'm trying to bowl. And it got to the point my husband had to seriously hold me up.
Oh, no.
So I could stand there to toss my ball. Because and it's my fault. I forgot to take my meds.
Yeah.
And my body just goes whoop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
that's crazy.
My walking is fine as long as I'm taking my meds.
Yeah.
The moment I stop taking the medication the doctors give me, it all goes awry. I mean, immediately.
But at least you've got a system. At least there's something in place now. That's.
Yeah,
I mean, yes,
it wasn't easy either.
No,
so like we said, you have to advocate for yourself.
You got to advocate for yourself. You try this, that didn't work. Let's try that. Oh, that worked better. Oh,
Right.
But what I've also realized with almost everybody that I've encountered doing this so far is our 1 to 10 scale is not the same as your 1 to 10 scale, or the normal, whatever that is.
Yeah.
The normal.
And you know what? 10, I am so sick and tired of going to the doctor's office and them saying, "So what's your pain level today?" You idiot! It's the same as every day.
So there's a comedian out there that I absolutely love. That one of his little things is about the emergency room in the 1 to 10 scale, and he's like, "How would you rate your pain?" Right? How many times have you had that?
Right.
He just looked at him one time and said, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up, what do you want me to say?
Right.
So it's that rate your. I wish they would just get rid of that scale sometimes. I mean, I know why it's there for the vast majority of the population,
but it's funny.
It drives me crazy.
Like you said, that scale doesn't really apply to us because our
because
levels.
It's off.
It's right.
It's skewed. Like R3 would be somebody else's 8.
Right.
Exactly.
So
I get it. Yeah.
So I used to say that my scale to 1 to 10, 10 being giving birth.
The worst pain you've ever,
But you know what? I've rechanged that. MS is
worse
than giving birth.
Oh my gosh.
So
I can't relate to that either.
I know, but so I used to relate number 10 giving birth.
Yeah.
And now, I'm probably a normal person's 50.
Right. Yeah. Depending on the day. Right.
Right.
Oh man. Well, we got a couple more minutes and then we're going to hit another break. But what is there anything quickly, and we can go into a little more after on the other side, but is there anything that you wish somebody knew about MS that you could they come up to you, they're talking to you, whatever, and it's like, oh, look, you don't look sick. What's wrong? You know,
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything that you wish they knew that they could, so that they would understand?
It's funny you say that. I have handicap tags, right? Invisible condition. I'm
walking around in high heels.
Like, and so I get the dirtiest looks.
I bet you do.
When I park. But people don't know me and know my story, and I can't walk that far. I might be in heels, but I can't walk that far.
Heels or not.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And so it is truly an invisible condition. And I've had a lot of people stop me going, what are you doing parking there?
Are you driving your sick grandpa's car with the tags or whatever?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, my one thing advice would be, don't worry about what other people think. No. Don't do it. No. It doesn't matter. Matter. And your diagnosis doesn't matter.
No. It's none of their business.
Well, no, it's not just that, but being diagnosed with MS doesn't mean a death sentence for one. No, but I don't go by the diagnosis. I go by the symptoms.
Yes.
So don't treat that MS, treat your symptoms.
Yeah. Exactly, because that's what's immediately in front of you that's affecting you every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. It's not,
so if you can't walk, learn to walk again.
Figure it out.
If you're having bladder problems, find the right doctor to fix it. Right. I mean, these are all things, go after your symptoms. Yes. Don't go after a title.
Yeah, because that's just you're just gonna be running in circles.
You will be.
And you're gonna be frustrated, and it's not gonna be fun at all.
And then my other advice is don't Google your symptoms. I mean, really, before you see the neurologist,
don't go to Wikipedia.
Don't go looking up what you think it might be.
Yeah.
Because then you're going in with a
you're stressing yourself out too much ahead of time.
Right. You're going in with this mindset that, it could be this, 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 or this. And it's your job to tell me what it is. No, that's not how it works.
They know what they're doing most of the time. Let's just let them do it, right? Mm-hmm. So, no, I totally get it. That's good, because I feel like we've said that 100 times, but it's so true.
It is.
So
But awesome. Treat the symptoms. Don't treat the diagnosis.
Right. Yeah, it's too much.
It
really
your tail. It really is. So I've learned to live with my pain.
Yep.
And I've learned to not say ow. And I've learned to hide it. Right. I hide it every day because I don't need my clients. They don't need to know.
Nope.
And the only person that knows how I truly feel every day is my husband.
Yep. Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And that's why you married him, because you knew he could handle it.
He could.
That's it.
He actually told me when we first started dating, he wasn't sure if he could handle somebody with MS.
Too late.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a short break again, and we'll talk about more. We're gonna talk about hope on the other end of this.
Nice.
That's right, because that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Here we go. Yay, we're back. This goes so fast.
Oh my goodness, it does.
I know you were worried that we were going to not come up with enough stuff to talk.
Well, I knew that I have a mouth and I could talk for an hour, but about MS, I wasn't quite sure. Because normally I'm talking accounting and numbers.
Yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, here we are. So all of this stuff that we've talked about, all the advocating and all the pain and the 1 to 10 scale and all the nonsense that everything that this involves, how do you personally, how do you find hope in the midst of all of that?
I think it's two things. One is my husband.
Nice.
It really is. Every morning when I wake up, he's asked me if I take my meds, in a very loving way. It's not like controlling way. But in a loving way, he does. He asks me if I take my meds. He tells me that I'm beautiful. He tells me I can achieve stuff. If I fall down, he's like, get back up, you know? Right. And so, and he's the only one, like I said, that knows my actual pain, that actually knows what's going on. Because I don't want to hide anything from him. No. That's my husband.
No, exactly.
Right. And so I have never been this open with anybody in my life. I've always hidden my MS. I've hidden everything.
Because it's what you do.
Right.
It's just, because nobody else understands.
Yeah.
So it's none of their business, right? You don't want to have to get into it with everybody, right?
Right. It's not like I want to explain, I had the MS, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
just move on.
Right. So if I just act like a chameleon,
but when you get married, it's different.
It totally is different.
Yes.
I mean, when I married him, we wrote our own vows. Like I said, I just got married a month ago, so I'm honeymoon.
This is way fresh.
Right, it really
You're
is.
You're going to be on the honeymoon phase for a little bit. It's fun.
I am.
It's fun, right? Yeah.
It is. And the fact that I got the man to buy me a pink house. That's a whole other story.
Oh,
but I got him to buy me.
Cool. No, that was a good house.
It's an 1861
nice
Victorian. It is gorgeous and it's pink. I love it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But, the second thing I would say is, like I said, listening to your doctors.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bowler now. Mm-hmm. My doctor suggested that to me. I was bowling. What am I going to do with bowling? And he told me, he goes, I don't want you to do the walk and slide. I don't want you to do any of that.
Just stand
so I just stand there and I throw the ball.
Okay. No wind up.
No wind up. No
That's
walk,
too complicated.
So I can't do it. And he told me I'm not allowed to use more than a 10-pound ball. So my ball cannot be heavy.
Well, that's kind of relative to your like to your weight, right?
No.
Just 14. Whatever you can handle.
14.
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
14 is generally the standard for a ball because the heavier the ball is, the harder it hits the pins, and the pinfall goes down.
The more work it does, not you. Yeah.
My ball goes down. The pins go. Ha 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 ha. You want to do what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So
do you have high heel bowling shoes?
I wish. Those are the only ones that are not high heels. But I can put a pad to the bottom of them. My shoes, I did find that out because I'm not sliding. I just stand there. But it really is listening to your doctor. My doctor told me I had to get up and move.
Yeah.
My doctor told me, try these supplements. I'm not going to tell you what supplements because your doctor needs to tell you what supplements.
That's right.
For you.
Yep.
So he told me to take certain supplements. He told me that I should take this shake, and it's got literally over 100 vitamins, different vitamins combinations, different whatever is in it. Your vitamin A, B, C, D, all of it.
Yeah.
And that's a shake. So I take that shake every morning, and it really helps because it's got, I'll only tell you one thing, MSN in it. And MSN. And MSN is an all-natural supplement that goes and helps calm your nervous system.
Well, that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So MSN, check it out, people.
Yeah.
It's the only one I would say.
So that's not a brand, but that's just the supplement.
That's just the name of the supplement. MSN.
Any brand, that's what it would be called.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go try to find that.
Very cool.
It really is listening to my doctors and having that support system.
Yes.
Those are the two things. If you don't have a great support system, you're not going to make it.
No.
Because if you don't have that person, right?
I mean, really.
Really, yeah. But with MS, if you don't have that person that says, "Okay, you fell down, get up," you know what I mean? Like, okay, you can't remember something right now, because I do. I go blank a lot. He tries to remember what the conversation was so that he can tell me what I forgot.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, because, most people are like, oh, well, she forgot. Move on.
Oh,
what
no,
do you do?
believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me. We've got several brain surgeries in the last few years. Memories.
Yeah.
I always say memory's the second thing to go. And they say, oh, what's the first?
I
forgot that years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know.
Right.
And that's why I'm thankful for my wife too. I mean, we've been married. This will be 24 years coming up
nice.
in June. We've been married that long, and
that's awesome. Everybody give them a round of applause for that.
And we met when we were 12, in 7th grade dance class. So she's been around me a long time.
That's a long time.
And so, but that's a beautiful thing, because and this will, as the years go, you'll realize this too. It's you don't even have to say it after a while.
It's like, how it is now.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
So to have that person that's always there to help is amazing.
My husband can take one look at me and know what's wrong.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I know that can help is service dog, which I know you were kind of joking around with earlier, like well, he quit, he resigned.
Quit. Yeah, he resigned on me. Yeah.
Last time he's like, nope, you do it.
I do suggest everybody getting a service dog.
But so what was the process there? Though?
There's two.
Like I know there's companies out there that all say they're the best.
There's two processes.
But okay, what do you
got? The first one is you train with the dog.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah. You go to class and then you
take
train
all
at
these
home.
classes. No. You take the dog with you, and you do these classes.
Okay.
And so, like, for example, when the puppy is 8 weeks old, you get an apron, you put the food in the apron, and then you put the food out and you say, come, and then you give them the food.
Yeah.
And then and as they learn that, then you start taking a step back and then say, come, and they come forward. So that's just one way. The other way is to buy a service dog that's already trained.
Oh, sure, that somebody's already taken a couple years or whatever to train. And
Cindy, who I sat next to in Achieve University?
Yeah.
She has a service dog, and she paid for her service dog. She didn't train
somebody else trained the dog,
Exactly.
and then it came already ready to go.
Right. But the process to get a service dog is a couple things. One, makes you ADA compliant.
Yes.
Right. The ADA cannot kick you out. Nobody can tell you. And let me tell you, a service dog is not a pet. No. It is not a pet. So if anybody says, "Oh, your dog is a pet," no, a service dog is not a pet. Period.
It is a mandatory companion that you have with you that can help you live, basically.
Yes, because my dog, if I go to fall, is to catch me.
Yes.
And the standing joke, like he said, was that I almost fell the other day, and my dog comes running over to help me, then looks up at me and goes,
I'm out.
And out. And left.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it's funny.
It is. Yeah, that's why it's funny, but not funny. And so I have.
He knows you too well already.
Right. He's like, you're fine. I'm like, okay. So, and then she went running to her crate. Like, she knew she did something wrong. Like, I'm not catching you.
Busted now.
I'm going to my crate.
Yeah.
But no, the process is you can start it online, actually.
Nice.
And there's several different companies that you can get.
They all work a little different. Right. I know there's
but I can actually get, if you really want a service dog, reach out to Jeff, and I will get you the right company's information.
Yes.
Because that company, you do pay $100, but you get a certificate. You get an ID card, and you take that along with a doctor's note. Your doctor needs to write a letter saying that this is a service dog. These are the conditions, and this is how the dog's going to help her.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that letter, you do not have a service dog, period.
Right. It's a
right. But now no one can ask you for that letter. It's illegal for people to ask you for that letter.
I think they can only ask you, is that a service dog, and what is it there to perform? What duties does it perform to help you? Those are the only, I think those are, I'm no expert, but I think those are the only two questions they're legally allowed to ask you, nothing else. They can't ask you to produce that document. They can't ask you anything else. So,
but you need that paperwork. And then, of course, the service vest.
The vest is
and you have to make sure that when your pet is in a service dog in a working mode, it's no longer a pet. It becomes a service provider.
Yep.
And then nobody is to touch your dog, period.
Yeah.
When it's working.
Yes.
Because that's a distraction. And if the dog doesn't understand the difference between working and playing,
that's a problem.
Then your service dog is not going to listen to you. I mean, you're going to listen to regular commands like come here, sit down, you know, that stuff. But as for what he's trained to do, like to catch me, they become more a pet, then they lose that right away. Yeah.
Man, so if somebody wanted to reach out to you to ask questions or like, I don't know, get to know, you know, you, or figure out, like, ask questions about the service dog thing or ask questions about anything, what's your best way of contacting you?
Well, I would say through my business.
Okay.
Because my business line is really the fastest way to get to me.
Sure.
So that number is 719-867-2000.
And what business are you?
Oh, I'm an accountant.
Okay.
I tell everybody I'm not your typical bean counter.
Nice.
But the company's name is Advanced Accounting and Business Solutions, or I call it AABS for short.
Sure.
So the website, it's down at the moment because it's being upgraded.
But the phone number is good, though.
The phone number is good.
So if they want to reach out, and you're on social media as well.
Oh, I am.
We'll put all those links in there. You sent them to me, so check check the posts and stuff for that after the show, and we'll have all that.
I will tell you though, on Facebook, there's not that many of me.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So if you put in my first name,
that you do, it's gonna. Oh no. Of course.
Samona.
Yeah. That's not very
so
common.
if you put in Samona, my last name, I pop up. Not many people pop up with this combination. I'm the only one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I'm so excited we did this. This is super cool.
Too.
I just want to make sure we're fitting in the time here. I don't know why, but it's like I'm talking or something, and then I sometimes go over. So I know, crazy, right?
Well, but this has truly been fun, and I wanted to thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this invisible condition, people don't get it. They don't understand, and they don't want to take the time to understand. So thank you for this TV show.
They just want you to be better,
right,
and move on, because sometimes it makes them more comfortable.
Right.
So
yes, and that's exactly the key, because it's invisible, we can make others uncomfortable.
Which is, kind of a double-edged sword there, well, thank you.
But yes, thank you so much for doing this, because it's very important, I think.
I agree. I appreciate it. And I thank you for being here, and all the people that have been on here have been phenomenal, and I'm so glad that we're able to do this. So, so everybody, next show on Friday, we're going to have Angie Clayton, who, believe it or not, her diagnosis is literally 2 in a million. So believe it or not, it's going to be a wild ride. She's awesome. I can't wait to talk to her. I can't wait for you to meet her. So, thank you for being here. Thank you. And, we will see you on Friday. Thank you very much. Hold on. Where are they? Okay, there we go. Sorry. I'm telling you.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Like I said, if you want those supplements, reach out to him. Definitely go to your doctor and advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. We'll see you next time, everybody.